I was nursing my morning coffee, as was my ritual, when I first felt the faint, unsettling shift. Imagine standing on the deck of a ship and suddenly there's no sway, no subtle rocking against the waves, like the sea had gone flat. That's what it felt like. Only it wasn't the sea, it was the Earth. Being a physics professor, my mind quickly juggled with the horrifying implications of such an event. In the grand cosmic ballet, our lovely blue planet had just missed a step. She'd stopped spinning. Gingerly, I walked over to the window and looked out. The sun was glued stubbornly to its place in the sky, a celestial entity caught in the act of some divine misdemeanor. My heart pounded with a sudden rush of adrenaline. I had to confirm this, had to prove my mind wasn't playing tricks. Grabbing my laptop, I launched the software I used for amateur astronomy. It interfaced with my backyard telescope, which was now aimed squarely at the noon sun. A cold dread washed over me as the numbers confirmed it. The Earth had stopped. Well, more accurately, it had begun to slow drastically. I remember how my finger hesitated over the send button. The email was addressed to my friend, Dr. Arlene Briggs, the head of astrophysics at MIT. She needed to see this. My mind wandered back to my undergraduate days, to those sleepless nights reading Arthur C. Clarke and Philip K. Dick. What delicious irony. The nerdy teenager obsessed with post-apocalyptic scenarios was now living in one. Hours passed as I waited, my eyes glued to the clock, the hands moving in painful, slow motion. Meanwhile, the sun hadn't budged. The email notification chimed, tearing me away from the alarming stillness. It was Arlene. She'd seen it too, as had others. Panic and disbelief were giving way to a cold acceptance. The world as we knew it was changing. The Earth's rotation, something we'd taken for granted, was slowing, and we had no idea why. In the grand cosmic clock, we'd somehow lost our ticker. Our 24-hour cycle was no longer reliable. Days and nights as we knew them were no longer a certainty. That's when the effects started showing. The weightlessness came first. It was subtle but discernible, as though each step was on the moon. The centrifugal force that subtly lightened our weight was disappearing. You don't realize the comfort of your own weight until it starts to shift. Then came the seismic activities. The Earth, in her surprise, shivered like a wet dog, the tremors rocking cities to their core. I remember standing in my doorway as the ground shivered beneath me, the books tumbling from the shelves, the coffee mug shattering in a distant corner. In the ensuing days, the world fell into a chaotic ballet. Tides rebelled, storms stirred, earthquakes became daily events, and humanity, the ever-adapting species, struggled to cope with its newfound reality. Scientists worked around the clock, governments mobilized resources, and we all huddled around our screens, praying for a miracle. And then, it happened. After a week that felt like a lifetime, the Earth let out a sigh and began to move again. As though waking from a deep slumber, she stirred, her movements slow and tired. I remember staring at the numbers on my screen, disbelief and relief washing over me. The Earth's rotation had resumed. Of course, the speed was nowhere near what it once was. Days were longer, nights too. The Earth's wobble, like a top spinning erratically, had changed our climate, the seasons. We now lived in a world that spun slower, a world that had tasted stillness and survived. In the months that followed, we adapted. New time zones were established, schedules changed, lives were rebuilt. We learnt to live with longer days and nights, with the altered weather patterns. The day the Earth stopped became a global holiday, a reminder of our fragility, our insignificance in the grand cosmic scheme. The world had changed, and so had we. In our quiet moments, we, the survivors, would sometimes sit and watch the slower sunset, our hearts filled with a newfound appreciation for the universe's whims. In that slowing down, we had found a moment to pause, to reflect. We had seen the world change, felt her shiver and sigh, and in the process, had changed ourselves. This slower world of ours had found a different rhythm. In its longer days and nights, I found more time to think, to love, to live. In its rebellion, the Earth had given us an unexpected gift, the gift of time. The nights were the worst. Lying in bed, watching the stubborn stars refuse to twirl in their celestial dance, I was forced to confront the enormity of what had happened. We had cheated death, stared down an apocalypse and emerged, scarred but alive. That realization hit hard, as did the fear of a recurrence. There was a strange sense of community in our collective fear, and We were, after all, passengers on the same cosmic ship, and that ship had just sprung a massive, inexplicable leak. We found solace in each other's company, bearing our souls in ways we hadn't before. Vulnerability has a strange way of building bonds, I suppose. Around 6 months after the event, I took up a position at MIT, working with Arlene and a team of astrophysicists, meteorologists and geologists to understand what had caused the Earth to stop, and more importantly, to predict if it would happen again. Our findings were as puzzling as they were terrifying. We concluded that an unknown force, possibly a sudden drastic change in gravitational forces due to celestial alignment or a burst of cosmic energy of untraceable origin, had impacted Earth's rotation. The scariest part, we couldn't rule out it happening again. While the scientific community wrestled with these uncomfortable truths, the world outside had taken a surprising turn. You'd think near annihilation would plunge us into chaos, but the opposite happened. The shared trauma of the event sparked a global outpouring of empathy. Countries opened their borders to climate refugees, wars were paused, a worldwide truce was declared. In the face of potential oblivion, we found unity. Education saw a revolutionary shift. Every school started including survival science in their curriculum, teaching kids about seismic activities, tidal patterns, cosmic phenomena, and yes, even the basics of gravitational forces and Earth's rotation. It seemed we were raising a generation armed with the knowledge of our existential threats. There was an uptick in people pursuing science and research. It's funny how staring at the possibility of your own end can ignite a passion to understand the universe. We, the gatekeepers of knowledge, became the new age rock stars. 5 years have passed since the day Earth stopped. I sit in my study at MIT, the same numbers and calculations spread across my screen. Only now, they tell a different story. The story of an Earth that is healing, that is taking a deep breath before her next twirl. There's a strange beauty in this new world of ours. In its slow twirl, we've found a rhythm that feels almost poetic. The longer days and nights have lent an ethereal quality to time. The sunsets are longer, more languid, painting the sky in hues that linger well into our elongated nights. I take my coffee out onto the patio, savoring the lingering twilight. As I gaze at the stars, twinkling in their fixed spots, I feel a sense of profound gratitude. The universe, in all its infinite wisdom, chose to give us a second chance. In our dance with death, we'd found a renewed love for life. We've become keepers of a strange truth, heirs of a unique legacy, the inhabitants of the day that Earth stood still. And as daunting as that truth is, there's a strange comfort in knowing we're in this dance together. In the grand waltz of the cosmos, we've learnt to sway to our own rhythm. Perhaps that's the final lesson from the day the Earth stopped, that even in the face of oblivion, we find ways to adapt, to survive, to dance. And dance we will, across this cosmic stage, under the watchful gaze of the stars, forever twirling to the rhythm of the universe. The day the Earth stopped was not the end, but a new beginning. A reminder that even when the music changes, the dance must go on.